Hi, this is Conrad Zimmerman of FistShark Marketing. If you're into our show, we hope you'll consider supporting us with a small monthly contribution through Patreon. For less than the price of a free-range virgin sacrifice to Nurgleth the Ravenous, you can help us to continue whispering unintelligible nonsense into your ears. Just visit patreon.com/fistshark or click the big Patreon button at fistshark.com for more details. And thanks for listening. Oh.
Don't sniff it. Don't sniff in. You'll make it worse.
Oh.
You breathe through your mouth, and I mean that's. It's not as bad if you breathe. I mean, it does feel like you're eating whatever.
It does.
Oh.
There doesn't seem to be any avoiding it. It's just everywhere.
Stunk out the whole floor, I think. It's the whole floor. It's what happens. It's what happens when you microwave it. It gets the whole floor.
Somebody brought that shit in here and cooked it? For God's sake.
And they're not owning up to it.
It's not an appropriate food item for the office. Leave that shit at home.
Well, yeah, someone who has not owned up to it yet. I'm not looking at anyone in particular. Craig, probably, or Doris. But someone took it in here, knowing full well what happens when you microwave that sort of food in a public place, and just went ahead, scarfed it down, and left us to deal with the lingering smell.
It reeks of failure. I can see why you'd think it was Craig.
Failure, anxiety, confusion. I don't like the way the bad smell smells, Conrad. If I can be perfectly honest with you, I don't like the way the bad smell smells. It smells bad to me.
It's gonna get into our clothes. You know we're gonna smell like this all day.
Oh, I won't. I'm burning these as soon as I get home. I'm burning these and I'm scouring my skin.
You have the right idea. I am seriously tempted to take a swing down by FistShark Science and get a chemical bath. Just so that I don't have to leave here like this.
It's like eating eggs on a bus. Or microwaving fish. I think that's the only thing that could come close to this. And this is the only thing that beats fish.
Oh, yeah. I mean, microwaving a fish, that almost seems pleasant. And really, I think the egg thing, eating an egg in public, that's really more of the visual, right? I mean, it's seeing someone chomp down on an egg and that little crumble of a yolk that gets in their teeth. And why does everyone have to, chomp with their incisors on those? You just tuck it in the corner and give it a little chew. That's what those little grinders back there are for.
Keep the egg to yourself.
Yeah.
No one else wants to see that egg. It's your egg. Deal with it on your own time, in your own place of business. Not on the bus, and not in my place of business. I wish this was an egg. I wish this was an egg left on a radiator somewhere to get really warm and heat up and stink up the place so that we all smell like bad mayo. I would rather deal with being bad mayo than whatever this is.
It's like a combination of body odor and vomit and just stank.
You know what this smells like.
What's that?
Ugh. Oh, fuck. Someone's been cooking Teen Spirit in the microwave.
Oh, God. I thought it was just kimchi.
It's Teen Spirit. One of you bastards microwaved Teen Spirit in the break room and ate it. Now we're all suffering. Why couldn't you have brought fish? Doris, you bastard.
Who even could stand Teen Spirit after a certain age, right? Teen Spirit is tolerable. I mean, that's why they call it Teen Spirit. It's appropriate for teens.
I'll say this, in favour of Teen Spirit, it's alright as a complimentary dish. It's like garlic or something. It's overpowering if you use too much of it. You want to use just the right amount of Teen Spirit to bring out the flavour of something else. Preferably, something that smells nicer. I will have a little bit of Teen Spirit mixed in with Victory in the morning. Because I like the smell.
No, I completely agree. Teen Spirit has its place. You want to put it to its best use, though, right? It's a garnish, outside of a few very specific kinds of arrangements. I mean, it would be like eating an entire tube of wasabi. Who does that?
Craig, when I make him.
Right, but that's, I mean, voluntarily, I guess I should have said.
There's the modifier, and I'll tell you what, no one. No one does it on purpose.
Hey, there's got to be money on the line.
You get some weird freak, though, who thinks, I know, I'll scarf an entire bag of Teen Spirit, and I'll do it at work. Some people just aren't right.
You can have it cold. That's the really galling part of this.
It's a flexible meal.
Yeah, you don't go through the whole. You don't need to go through the whole process. Yeah, okay, sure. It's not as potent, but that's kind of the point, isn't it?
It's not freedom. That's the point. It's not freedom. Now, the taste of freedom, that sours after a couple of days. But Teen Spirit, that lasts for at least, I want to say, 15 years.
Yeah, it's got a good shelf life.
It's like wine. It gets less stroppy and annoying with age.
Well, we got the results back from the sample group that we showed the new program to, and I don't know, we might have to rework some things. I don't think people are getting it.
Really? Because it seems, on paper, like a very secure concept.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, when you look at where the market is positioned right now in terms of content, the concepts that we have here are very, very popular. They're all over entertainment media. So it doesn't make a whole lot like a superhero show just works now, right?
The guaranteed smash successes. You get a superhero show, you put it on Netflix, people are going to watch it.
Could be good, it could be bad, it does not matter. It could be cheap, it could be incredibly cheap.
It could be almost as cheap as the things we make.
Almost, apparently, but not quite.
Was that the problem? Did they not like that this was filmed on phones?
They didn't seem to mind that.
No, because I liked that. I thought it lent it a gritty feel.
It gave it some authenticity. It certainly made it a little bit darker in tone. Just by being more personal and not having good lighting most of the time.
But that's a plus. You look at the DC movies, your Suicide Squad, your Batman v Superman, those movies are like not being able to see.
Right.
And they're really popular. In fact, there were moments where I was telling people to take light out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, can you not have your phone on while you're using it to film, because that's lighting it up a bit too much and we're losing that gritty city feel that people want from their superheroes. Dark alleys, rain-slick streets. I want to not be able to see the fighting. And the fighting should be imperceptibly up close and fast, lots of quick cuts. I don't want to be able to see what's going on. I thought that was brilliant, and I would have hoped that the audience thought the same.
Yeah, and I think maybe we probably should have put some fighting into it, maybe?
Well, there was some. There was some fighting. It cuts to fighting quite a bit. The superhero's not involved, but there are lots of cops getting beaten up.
Yeah, no, lots of cops being beat up, lots of I mean, I'm glad we got all of that other footage. But I think the main problem that the audience was having is that they couldn't find a connection between the action on screen and our hero. Because whenever there was action, he's not in it.
Right, but they should at least feel a connection to the superhero because he's talking to them on their level. That was supposed to be the reason that this show was a guaranteed smash success, because people love superheroes and people also love weed.
Right.
So you put the two together, and you've got the ultimate superhero, albeit one who just sorts of chills out a bit. He's chill about it. I mean, that's his catchphrase, is let's just smoke some pot and be chill about it. Which he does a lot, to my pleasure and gratitude, if I'm honest, for keeping the city safe.
And it's not even like he has powers, per se. You know, he sees a situation, he sees something that's fucked up, sees something wrong in his community, and so he sparks up a doob, sits back and says, "Man, that sucks."
He smokes until he gets hungry, eats a sheet cake, and we all delight in his behaviour.
But I guess the audiences were expecting, I don't know, someone to resolve something or some, and that is just typical, right?
Well, people want an easy answer. That's the thing. They want an easy answer to their problems. And sometimes, no, I'm sorry, but the answer isn't easy. Sometimes you've just got to not care and do drugs.
Right.
That's the hard choice.
That's the difficult thing, right? To go sit on a couch somewhere, get stoned as fuck, and let the world pass you by. That is a challenge.
It's a risk for him because it's not legal in Mepopolis. It's partially decriminalized.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he can carry it on his person, but he can't smoke it on the street.
That's the rebel heart.
And anytime he encounters something on the street, some action that he's got to, whip out his bud for, that puts him at risk. That's a threat.
Well, yeah, that's why he goes immediately home.
Right.
He sees someone getting robbed in the street, a little old lady who's being accosted by, 2 15-year-olds?
Yeah.
And he immediately turns around and walks straight home really quickly while the boys jeer and laugh at him. And then he looks at the camera and says, they think they've won, but I'm going to go home and get dank!
And he does. Gets very dank.
He does. The dankest I've ever seen, which is what makes him such a super individual.
It's such a dramatic scene, I mean, and that's why we spent so much time on that particular sequence where he goes home and he sits down and the camera is fixed on him for 25 minutes straight.
Well, I mean, he does that once an episode. That's his version of going into the phone booth and coming out in the iconic Superman outfit.
Right.
It's the bit we've got to get right, which is why it has to be so long and so laboriously filmed.
On the plus side, very, very cheap to shoot. Really cuts down on our expenses. I mean, when you're basically dedicating half of your 40-minute running time to one shot of the guy sitting on the couch, I mean, that's money in the bank right there. I mean, we can charge production for 3 weeks worth of shooting, but we can knock all of that out in an afternoon, pocket the difference.
Mm-hmm.
As a money laundering plan goes, it's very effective.
So what didn't they like about it?
Apparently he doesn't do anything but get stoned, and they found that to be a problem.
Right.
And I don't understand it. Like, isn't that the whole point?
Isn't it?
For him to sit on a couch and mutter to himself about whatever it is he's watching on TV. Game shows.
Game shows, mostly, yeah. Mostly old game shows. Supermarket Sweep.
Actually, I really like the idea that they have for the third episode, in which he sees that episode of Love Connection that he'd already seen before.
You see, now, I wasn't sold on that, mostly because I didn't think that him watching a repeat would be all that enthralling. But the twist at the end where he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it, and then scrolls to YouTube on his smart TV and watches an episode of Legends of the Hidden Temple, that absolutely blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think they're going to start a whole 90s Nick show arc in the second season.
There's nothing that I can think of that millennials identify with more than sitting somewhere, stoned out of their gourd, watching old Nickelodeon game shows.
I'm just imagining a second series where Hot Pot Fury remembers that Rocco's Modern Life was a thing.
Oh my God.
How are audiences not liking this? How are they expecting him to do anything more? He's wearing an ugly, dirty, browny green costume with weed written on the front.
I don't know what they're expecting. Like, did they think that smoking weed was going to give him awesome powers?
Spider-Man does whatever a Spider-Man can. The Punisher shoots you with a big gun. Hot Pot Fury does a lot of part.
That's the gig.
And he masturbates furiously because of the part. He says it makes him mega horny, which is a cliffhanger for episode 5. Just that penultimate moment of how is that going to get resolved for the finale. That blew my mind. It's been a while since we've had anything in regarding children's products, and I'm a little bit concerned about that. Toys are popular as ever. It's August right now, so we've got to start thinking about Christmas. We got to start deciding now what toys are rare, so they're very expensive later. So I've had a little look around, and I've noticed some comebacks. Some retro stuff's coming back in fashion. People like the 80s and the early 90s. That generation now is sort of coming into play, and they're looking for things for their kids. And I was looking at your Boglins. I was looking at your Mad Balls. I was looking at that big head one that had the eyeball on a string, and you pulled that out. Trash Bag Bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Your gross out kids' toys. Those rubbery frisbees that you flung and they had monster faces on them. Monster in My Pocket. That's another one. The monsters, the ghoulies, the creepies. The stuff that was inspired by Gremlins and Critters back in the day.
Yeah, I think the market would be incredibly ripe for something like that. A gross out toy for something in the, 8 to 12-year-old market. That's a good section to hit. Lots of opportunity. So what'd you have in mind?
Baby poisoners.
Baby poisoners. It's edgy.
Yeah. It's a new toy for a new generation of 10-year-olds. I was looking back over some of the famous, gross toys figures. Again, I mentioned your Boglins and your Mad Balls and this. And yeah, they're gross. They're ugly. That was the point of them. But today's kids seen it all. We've seen that. You go to a movie theatre now, you see a movie for kids like Saving Private Ryan, and it's pretty hardcore. So the child of today, if you want to gross them out, if you want to give them those toys that they can, hilariously scare mum with in the commercials, then you got to go with baby poisoners, because I don't think that you can really get gross anymore without poisoning babies in a variety of wacky neon-coloured ways.
It's bold. Well, I mean, nothing to me. I mean, there's no crime greater than the murder of a child.
Yes. And let me just to speak to the quality and the variety of the character design. All really funny characters. Gross, but funny and cartoony and colourful for the kids. They're not just all parents.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was inspired by nurses, so-called angels of death that might, slip in a sly injection here or there.
So this is like a line of different types of baby poisoners. Baby poisoners isn't just the name, it's the theme that runs through them.
It's very much what the characters are. Like the Garbage Pail Kids. They were ugly kids that I presume all lived in garbage cans.
They certainly had a lot of garbage cans in their presence.
Good enough for me. That's why they poison babies.
So because they have a lot of babies in their presence, they poison them?
Yeah. They're all... I wrote up a lot of character bios. I can show you a couple. I mean, we got Arsenic Annie here. There's Pillow Pamela. I don't know if you want to just take a look at these and see what you think. You see the dead eyes on that one?
Those are okay. Yeah, those are eyes.
And I'm not just talking about the baby.
No,
it's very important because the backstory for this one is he has no feelings.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why he's got the dead eyes while he's doing that thing he's doing.
Okay, so I guess is that 3 babies?
Oh yeah. We're talking about Stabby Tabby.
I can't tell if it's one baby in lots of parts or multiple.
Well, I mean, column A, column B.
The poisoners, I mean, that...
If you're worried about thematic consistency, she dipped the knife in some potassium first.
Okay, alright, I'm just gonna put that, so these are very detailed. these are concepts at this point, or are we already producing these?
Well, I've been hand sculpting the original molds. I'm very, very into this project.
Uh-huh. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't stop thinking about the eyes.
Yeah. It took me, I want to say a couple of days drawing the eyes alone on that one, and that's just the concept. Actually sculpting it was, I want to say most of my life.
And so there are like physical, like three-dimensional forms of these images that exist in this world. Like you have given these shape already.
Well, yeah, some of these ideas I've had for these characters, I mean, they've been knocking about in my head since I was 10, playing with my action figures, thinking, you know what, these just aren't gross enough. Sure, these ones are slimy, but none of them have poisoned a baby.
Uh-huh.
That's when I first came up with Alistair. If you look at Alistair here he is, colloquially called Abortion Alley. What do you reckon of him?
Oh, okay. All right. So
It's funny because it's a pun.
yeah,
What he's doing isn't legal.
right.
That's why he's wearing a Victorian hat, so that you know it was before he could have been qualified to do it.
The coat's very shiny. Is that where the stickiness would come in?
Oh, no, that's just because he's one of the rare ones. If you look on this page, these are where you've got your silver ones, your gold ones, your glow-in-the-dark ones. They're the ones that are going to be rare and valuable in a few years' time.
Wow, so this is going to be a big collectible long-term play. I like that. Okay, I'm just going to...
Oh, yeah, we'll put them in boxes. You know, the kids won't see which ones they get. You will do random packs so they can trade them at school and everything.
I'm sorry, I just kind of move those out of my peripheral vision. I can keep seeing them out of the corner of my eye, and they are just... How do you sleep at night?
With an erection, mostly.
FistShark Marketing is Jim Sterling and Conrad Zimmerman. Theme music by Ben Rama. Additional music by Alizar Chan. Our editor is Austin Yorsky. Get more episodes and learn how to support the show at FistShark.com. Follow us on Twitter at FistShark for more of our exploits. Complaints can be forwarded via email to fistsharkmarketing@aol.com. And remember, every civilization believes they'll be the last. Goodbye.